Love doesn't always have a happy ending, especially in the world of fame. Behind the red carpets, flashing lights, and perfect Instagram posts, many celebrities have gone through heartbreak, loss, and painful breakups. Some love stories ended too soon, some were filled with drama, and others simply couldn't survive the pressure of the spotlight. In this video, we'll take a look at the top 10 most tragic celebrity love stories, relationships that touch fans' hearts, but ended with sadness instead of forever. Before we start, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get regular updates. Let's dive in. Number 10, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's romance has been one of Hollywood's most watched. They first fell in love in the early 2000s and were quickly engaged. But media pressure and personal differences tore them apart before they could say, "I do." For years, it seemed like their story had ended. But in 2021, they surprised everyone by rekindling their romance. Fans were thrilled when they got married in 2022, hoping that love had finally come full circle. However, behind the scenes, not everything was picture perfect. By 2024, Lopez filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The couple had reportedly been living separately for months. Despite their efforts, they couldn't reconcile their different lifestyles. Number 9, Steve Irwin and Terry Irwin. Steve Irwin wasn't just the crocodile hunter. He was a man with an infectious passion for wildlife. His enthusiasm, boundless energy, and fearless spirit won the hearts of fans all over the world. But behind the scenes, his heart belonged to one woman, Terry Irwin. Their connection was instant. Terry, who shared his love for animals, became his wife, partner, and co-star. Together, they built a life filled with adventure, danger, and purpose. But their journey was tragically cut short in 2006 when Steve died after being pierced by a stingray's barb while filming in the Great Barrier Reef. He was only 44. His sudden death left a hole in Terry's life and in the hearts of his fans. Terry later said that she doesn't plan to remarry because she had already lived her happily ever after with Steve. Their love continues to live on through their children, Bindi and Robert, who carry on the conservation legacy their parents started. Number 8, Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney. Before Paul McCartney became one of the most famous power couples in music history, he met Linda Eastman, a talented photographer. They married in 1969, and after the Beatles disbanded, the two formed a band of their own, Paul McCartney and Wings. They weren't just musical partners. They were soulmates who raised a family together and worked side by side for decades. Linda was Paul's anchor. She kept him grounded in the chaos of fame. Their life together was filled with music, animals, and activism. But their time was cut short in the late 1990s when Linda was diagnosed with breast cancer. She passed away in 1998 at the age of 56. Paul was devastated. He once said she was the only woman who ever truly understood him. Number 7, Selena Quintanilla, Perez and Chris Perez. Selena was on the brink of international superstardom when tragedy struck. She had everything: talent, beauty, charisma. But behind the fame, she also had a secret love story with her band's guitarist, Chris Perez. Their relationship had to be kept under wraps because Selena's father disapproved. But love found a way, and they eloped in 1992. Despite the rocky beginning, the couple had started building a life together. Tragically, that life was shattered in 1995 when Selena was murdered by someone she trusted, her former fan club president, Yolanda Saldivar. She was just 23. Chris was left to mourn the woman he loved, a future that would never happen, and a love story that ended too soon. He's spoken over the years about the pain and grief he still carries, and he even published a book to honor their short but deep bond. Number 6, Keanu Reeves and Jennifer Syme. Keanu Reeves is often praised not just for his acting, but for his kindness and quiet strength. Much of that strength comes from the personal tragedies he's endured. In the late 1990s, Keanu was in a serious relationship with Jennifer Syme. They were expecting a child together, a daughter they named Ava. But heartbreak struck when their baby was stillborn. The loss caused immense strain, and they eventually broke up. However, love brought them back together, and they had just begun reconnecting when fate struck again. In 2001, Jennifer died in a car crash at only 28. Keanu rarely speaks about it, but friends say he was deeply affected. These losses changed him, turning him into a more introspective and private person. He once said, "Grief changes shape, but it never ends." Number 5. Brittany Murphy and Simon Monjack. Brittany Murphy, the bright-eyed star of films like Clueless and 8 Mile, had a promising career and a bubbly persona. She shocked the world when she married Simon Monjack, a screenwriter with a shadowy past and a reputation for being controlling. Their relationship raised eyebrows, but Brittany seemed determined to stand by him. In 2009, she died suddenly at the age of 32. Her death was attributed to pneumonia, anemia, and multiple drug intoxication. Just 5 months later, Monjack also died under similarly mysterious circumstances. Some believed it was toxic mold in their home. Others speculated on deeper, darker causes. The truth remains unclear, and their story feels both tragic and unresolved, leaving more questions than answers. Number 4. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. When Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt fell in love on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the world watched every moment of their blossoming relationship. It wasn't without controversy. Pitt was still married to Jennifer Aniston at the time. But once the dust settled, Brangelina became a global phenomenon. They adopted children, had biological ones, married in 2014, and seemed to be the perfect power couple. But in 2016, Jolie filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Rumors swirled about an incident on a private jet involving Pitt and one of their children. Though the incident didn't result in charges, it marked the beginning of a bitter divorce battle. As of 2025, they're still engaged in legal disputes over custody and their French winery. Number 3. Clark Gable and Carole Lombard. In the golden age of Hollywood, no couple was more admired than Clark Gable and Carole Lombard. He was the dashing leading man. She was the witty and beautiful actress who stole his heart. Their love story was filled with laughter and mutual admiration. But in 1942, tragedy struck when Lombard was killed in a plane crash while returning from a war bond tour. She was only 33. Gable was inconsolable. He joined the Army Air Forces not long after, partly out of grief and partly in tribute to her patriotism. Friends said he was never the same after her death. Even decades later, he was buried next to her, ensuring they'd be together forever. Number 2. Liam Neeson and Natasha Richardson. Liam Neeson and Natasha Richardson were one of Hollywood's most respected couples. They met while working on Broadway and married in 1994. Their bond was quiet but deep, and together they raised 2 sons. Life seemed full and happy. But in 2009, while skiing in Canada, Natasha fell during a lesson. She seemed fine at first, but later collapsed. She had suffered a brain injury and passed away shortly after. Liam had to make the heartbreaking decision to take her off life support. He later revealed that her organs were donated to help save others. Her sudden loss left Liam devastated, and though he continued acting, there was a visible sadness in him that never left. Number 1. Christopher Reeve and Dana Reeve. Christopher Reeve was known to the world as Superman, but it was his wife Dana who showed superhuman strength in real life. In 1995, Reeve became paralyzed from the neck down after a horse riding accident. At first, he wanted to give up, but Dana stood by him, encouraging him to live and find purpose again. Together, they became fierce advocates for spinal cord research and disability rights. Their bond grew stronger despite the challenges. Tragically, Christopher died in 2004. Just 2 years later, Dana passed away from lung cancer, even though she had never smoked. Which of these love stories touched your heart the most and why? Let us know in the comments below. If you really enjoyed watching the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.